Zano's functionality by itself is very cool. It's a very neat technical piece of hardware. However, we've got one extra thing we're going to add to the functionality. By using the additional abilities of Zano to communicate with each other, we're building in the ability to swarm them. Now this is true swarming. This is not a control one, control many kind of situation. Zanos natively talk to each other anyway, so they share information about what they're doing, where they're flying. We're taking it to the next step, so you can have one operator tasking a number of different Zanos. So they won't simply follow each other, you could set a flight plan. If you're doing extreme downhill videoing, you could tell one to video you from 45 degrees from behind, one directly overhead, one in front, and they'll follow you, maintaining their position. At the same time, avoiding objects, avoiding obstacles, not colliding with people. If one battery gets flat, they can communicate to the others. True swarming, and we're building this into a consumer device. Now this is a very, very exciting piece of technology. Unlike most small UAVs, Zano doesn't have a single form of communication. It actually has three forms of communication. Now the first one is what you would use to talk to it. You would connect to Zano using Wi-Fi from your Android or iOS device. That's fine. We want Zanos to be able to communicate with each other. How do we do that? We've actually built in a separate transceiver into Zano. Now transceiver is a means, or a radio frequency transmitter is a means for Zanos to communicate with each other, just like you would with Wi-Fi. However, this is a much lower frequency, and lower frequencies are less attenuated. That means blocked by physical matter. So we use a lower frequency, so Zanos can actually talk to each other. So when you're operating your Zano will actually transmit its position encrypted to other Zanos, so other Zanos know where they are, what objects to avoid, share information, share processing power. That's fine. If there is a reason, for whatever reason, that these two Zanos cannot communicate to each other, for instance, a Zano in America might use 915 megahertz, a Zano in Europe might use 868, they won't be able to talk to each other. The Zanos can also communicate using the infrared obstacle avoidance sensors. They're not just obstacle avoidance sensors, they're actually a relatively low bandwidth, a pulsed communication standard. So Zanos actually have two ways of sharing information about each other, which is infrared and low frequency RF, and you can communicate to the Zano using 2.4 gig standard 802.11 A, B, G and N Wi-Fi.